The sun was 2 hours higher now. It did not hurt his eyes so much to look into the east. There are only 3 boats in sight now, and they show very low and far inshore. All my life, the early sun has hurt my eye, he thought. Yeah, they all still good. In the evening, I can look straight into it without getting a blackness. It has more force in the evening too, but in the morning, it is painful. Just then he saw a man of wool bird with his long black wings circling in the sky ahead of him. He made a quick drop, slanting down on his back swept wing, and then circled again. He got something, the old man said aloud. He's not just looking. He rose slowly and steadily toward where the bird was circling. He did not hurry, and he kept his line straight up and down. But he crowded the current a little so that he was still fishing correctly, though faster than he would have finished if he was not trying to use the bird. The bird went higher in the air, and circled again, his wing motionless. Then he dove suddenly, and the old man saw flying fish spurt out of the water and sail desperately over the surface. Dolphin, the old man said aloud. Big dolphin. He shipped his oars and brought a small line from under the bow. It had a wire leader and a medium-sized hook, and he baited it with one of the sardines. He let it go over the side and then made it fast to a ring bolt in the stern. Then he baited another line and left it coiled in the shade of the bow. He went back to rowing and to watching the long-winged blackbird who was working, now low over the water. As he watched the bird dipped again, slanting his wings for the dive, and then swinging them wildly and ineffectually as he followed the flying fish. The old man could see the sight bulge in the water that the big dolphin raised as they followed the escaping fish. The dolphin were cutting through the water below the flight of the fish and would be in the water, driving at speed when the fish dropped. It is a big scuba dolphin, he thought. They are widespread, and flying fish have little chance. The bird has no chance. The flying fish are too big for him, and they go too fast. He watched the flying fish burst out again, and the ineffectual movements of the bird. That school has gotten away from me, he thought. They are moving out too fast and too far. But perhaps I'll pick up a stray, and perhaps my big fish is around them. My big fish must be somewhere. The clouds over the land now rose like mountains, and the coast was only a long green line with the gray-blue hills behind it. The water was a dark blue now, so dark that it was almost purple. As he looked down into it, he saw the red sifting of the plankton in the dark water and the strange light the sun made now. He watched his line to see them go straight down out of sight into the water, and he was happy to see so much plankton because it meant fish. The strange light the sun made in the water, now that the sun was higher, meant good weather, and so did the shape of the clouds over the land. But the bird was almost out of sight now, and nothing showed on the surface of the water but some patches of yellow, some beach, sargasso weed, the purple, formalized, iridescent, gelatinous blubber of a Portuguese man-of-war floating dozed beside the boat. It turned on its side and then righted itself. It floated cheerfully as a bubble with its long, deadly purple filament trailing a yard behind it in the water. Agua Mara, the man said. You whore. From where he swung lightly against his oars, he looked down into the water and saw the tiny fish that were colored like the trailing filament and swung between them, and under the small shade the bubble made as it drifted. They were immune to its poison, but men were not, and when some of the filament would catch on a line and rest there slimely and purple while the old man was working a fish, he would have welts and sore on his arm and hands of the sore that poison ivy or poison oak can give. But these poisoning from the Agua Mara came quickly and struck like a whiplash. The iridescent bubbles were beautiful, but they were the falsest thing in the sea, and the old man loved to see the big sea turtle eating them. The turtle saw them, approached them from the front, then shut their eyes so they were completely carapaced and ate them, filament and all. The old man loved to see the turtle eat them, and he loved to walk on them on the beach after a storm and hear them pop when he stepped on them with the horny sole of his feet. He loved green turtles and hawkbills with their elegance and speed and their great value, and he had a friendly contempt for the huge, stupid loggerhead, yellow in their armor plating, strange in their love-making, and happily eating the Portuguese man-of-war with their eyes shut. He had no mysticism about turtles, although he had gone in turtle boats for many years. He was sorry for them all, even the great trunk bags that were as long as a skiff and weighed a ton. Most people are heartless about turtles because a turtle heart will beat for hours after he has been cut up and butchered. But the old man thought, I have such a hurt too, and my feet and hands are like theirs. He ate the white eggs to give himself strength. He ate them all through May to be strong in September and October for the truly big fish. He also drank a cup of shark liver oil each day from the big drum in the shop where many of the fishermen kept their gear. It was there for all fishermen who wanted it. Most fishermen hated the taste, but it was no worse than getting up at the hours that they rose, and it was very good against all colds and grippers, and it was good for the eyes. Now the old man looked up and saw that the bird was circling again. He found fish, he said aloud. No flying fish broke the surface, and there was no scattering of bait fish. But as the old man watched, a small tuna rose in the air, turned and dropped head first into the water. The tuna shone silver in the sand, and after he had dropped back into the water, another and another rose, and they were jumping in all directions, churning the water, leaping in long jump after the bait. They were circling it and driving it. If they don't travel too fast, I will get into them, the old man thought, and he watched the school working the water white, and the bird now dropping and dipping into the bait fish that were forced to the surface in their panic. "The bird is a great help," the old man said. Just then the stern line came in taut under his foot, where he had kept a loop of the line, and he dropped his oars and felt the tidal weight of the small tuna's shivering pull as he held the line firm and commenced to haul it in. The shivering increased as he pulled it in, and he could see the blue back of the fish in the water and the gold of his side before he swung him over the side and into the boat. He lay in the stern in the sun, compact and bullet-shaped, his big unintelligent eyes staring as he thumped his life out against the planking of the boat with the quick shivering stroke of his neat, fast-moving tail. The old man hit him on the head for kindness and kicked him, his body still shuddering under the shade of the stern. "Albacore," he said aloud. "He'll make a beautiful bait. He'll weigh 10 pounds. He did not remember when he had first started to talk aloud when he was by himself. He had sung when he was by himself in the old days, and he had sung at night sometimes when he was alone staring on his watch in the smack or in the turtle boats. He had probably started to talk aloud when alone, when the boy had left, but he did not remember. When he and the boy fished together, they usually spoke only when it was necessary. They talked at night or when they were storm-bound by bad weather. It was considered a virtue not to talk unnecessary at sea, and the old man had always considered it so and respected it. But now he said his thought aloud many times since there was no one that they could annoy. "If the others heard me talking out loud, they would think that I am crazy," he said aloud. "But since I am not crazy, I don't care. I do not care. And the rich have radios to talk to them in their boat and to bring them the baseball." Now is no time to think in baseball, he thought. Now is the time to think of only one thing, that which I was born for. There might be a big one around that school, he thought. I picked up only a straggler from the Albacore that were feeding. But they are working far out and fast. Everything that shows on the surface today travels very fast and to the northeast. Can that be the time of day? Or is it some sign of weather that I do not know? He could not see the green of the shore now, but only the tops of the blue hills that showed white as though they were snow-capped, and the clouds that looked like high snow mountains above them. The sea was very dark, and the light made prisons in the water. The myriad flecks of the plankton were annulled now by the high sun, and it was only the great deep prisons in the blue water that the old man saw now, with his lines going straight down into the water that was a mile deep. The tuna. The fishermen called all the fish of that species tuna, and only distinguished among them by their proper names when they came to sell them or to trade them for baits, were down again. The sun was hot now, and the old man felt it on the back of his neck, and he felt the sweat trickle down his back as he rowed. I could just drift, he thought, and sleep and put a bite of line around my tail to wake me. But today is 85 days in. I should fish the day well.